So we have a premium gap opening. So the opening price here at 930, that's what's being annotated right there. Right. So from the opening range gap low to opening range gap high, I was talking about these levels here. That's me grading a daily fair value gap. I'll show you in a moment, and up to the opening price right here. So here is the midpoint of that opening range gap. And these levels here, that's me grading the daily. That's this gap right here. So this candle's low, this candle's high, and I'm just measuring the quadrants between that. I was talking about this candle. I want to see if it was going to make an attempt to get up there or roll over. We have a premium gap, so we're going to be able to study the opening range gap. So we're at the middle or consequent encroachment of that buy side balance, sell side efficiency on the daily chart. Sell side. This is mid gap. Watch this gap in here. Opening range completes at 10 o'clock, so I'm annotating that with a vertical line. If you notice that there is a new week opening gap from August 18th, and then today's new day opening gap within that. You see that? Then we have opening range gap low down here. Mid part of the opening range gap is here, so mid gap. So on regular trading hours, your chart looks like this. Previous settlement price, gap open higher, initial drop down. I want to see, this is the second fair value gap. If you're using the electronic trading hours, but it's the first fair value gap in the regular, the regular trading hours. Be aware of that. If we had not created it with the electronic trading hours data, I would be using this solely, but I'm telling you to watch this one, but because it's bridging both electronic and regular trading hours. We're treating it like the normal protocol where there's two fair value gaps. Look and see if there's an opportunity for it to spike up into the higher one. So far, nice uniform opening session. It's sold off right from the opening after a modest little rally. Drop down to the upper quadrant and the middle of the buy side balance, sell side efficiency on the daily chart. Came back and hit the fair value gap here, which is also the high of that daily buy side balance, sell side efficiency. Okay, so we have a nice reaction off of this gap. You're going to watch this right here. That's your initial opening range low, and the initial opening range high is here. So the opening range gap is still open or not filled yet to this degree. Okay, so that is what is left so far. And mid gap is this level here. So don't look at that now. So admittedly, I do like the new week opening gap down there, and today's new day opening gap is inside of it. We have a premium opening range gap, meaning we gapped up higher. The midpoint of that gap is still here. You measure the opening price down to the previous settlement. I'm watching this wick here. So back to the opening price. I'm not interested in seeing this be inverted. Like, I'm not interested in seeing that. Even it could do that. I'm not interested in seeing that though. I'd like to see an immediate rebalance here. That candle's low. Another return to the opening price, 9:30 opening bell. This is day 2 of the Jackson Hole Symposium. Back and forth price action. Rather lackluster opening range so far. long width. That's ugly. I'm forcing myself to use one screen. Consequent encroachment of the wick. There. Okay, opening range is complete. High's been taken here. So I'm going to watch and see, do they reject this or do they want to keep it going? I'm going to watch the new day opening gap here to support the I wonder if they want to take it all the way up to that daily SIBI one more time, the high, that blue line right here. Sweep the new day opening gap on the 20th of August and hammer that one more time right there, because all of this is balanced. This is back and forth price action. We're inside this little gap. Buy side here, they stretched out real nice to get that. So anything more beyond this, the only thing that would make sense for me is to touch it right here. If they go through that, then they're really going to just hammer it and try to take it up into this area here. And I'm not interested in any of that. So far, we've only had 1/4 of the opening range gap traded to. Since it's up into now the high, that daily SIBI. Let me take you back out to the other chart real quick. That's this candle right here. And that long drop down candle, that's the SIBI. So that's that level right here. So we hit that once more. Nice tradable run off of that daily SIBI high. I'm looking at the midpoint of this buy side and balance, sell side inefficiency. I don't want to see it accumulate anywhere in here. Jackson Hole Symposium. Whenever you have that on your economic calendar, just expect like really wild, impulsive price runs that feel personal. We opened, we had this small little range we stayed in. No significant displacements higher or lower. The opening range gap, we had 1/4 of it closed in. And that's this level here. You can see the fibs anchored right to the opening price. Previous settlement is down here. Lower third, middle of the gap, upper quadrant of it. We trade down into it here, and then they sent us into this run here. I'm not interested in buying it today. I'm not interested in going long. I'm not interested in taking anything long. So what happens if it keeps going up, ICT? It's a move that goes without me. It's a little too wild, unstructured. I mean, it's going to levels we have noted, but I'm not trusting any of this. One more pump above the run into that daily SIBI high. Anyone long, these two lows here are going to be used for trailed stop losses. They're going to try to protect their long position and that is where short-term minor sell side is. Obviously high today is the buy side. Once more, that daily SIBI high. I don't want to take a long today. I'm not interested in doing it. But if it were bullish, it should use where it's at right now to run to the new day opening gap on the 22nd. But if it fails to do so, then any attempt to get down below here should see us return back into the opening range gap. Too much back and forth. Not giving me a clean enough level to trust that it won't go through for stops. So we came back down, touched new day opening gap on the 20th here. So if it were bullish, you'd want to see the next two candles run aggressively into new day opening gap on the 22nd. Any failure to do so, it would, in my take on it, it would be failing in its underlying strength. A little too slow for my liking, but so far so good. Immediate rebalance. See how it failed to get up to that new day opening gap? Any other day, this would have been very quick to run to the 22nd's new day opening gap off of what was already supplied here. Spending too much time holding itself at a premium. All of this feels, I don't know, it doesn't feel like we're going to hold those levels today. I feel like they're going to be lower than where we're at now. If it goes back above the daily SIBI high on July 23rd, I'm no longer interested. I'd like to see it use the 20th new day opening gap here to stave off any run back above the daily SIBI high on the 23rd. It can wick through that new day opening gap. I just don't want to see it have a body lay over top of the 23rd of July. Not an easy read today. The influence of Jackson Hole. A lot of manipulation, heavy manipulation. I like to get heavy under here and stay on the lower half of this once it gets down here with a close under it. Any movement back in, I don't want to see it reaching the upper half of it. That should do that. That'd be nice. And we can study to see if we can get to that minor sell side. Below these lows here. It's got to close below it. We don't want to see this. Wicking below it's not the same as going below it, closing, starting another candle, then coming back up into it. I'm watching the wick consequent encroachment on this here. That's where my eye is. Would have preferred it was repricing to this gap over here sooner. Going up and hitting it now it's still okay. I just would have rather not waited that long. It would have been better for it to go up there earlier, touch it, and then displace lower. But like I said, the way this week is, you got to put up with a lot more stuff that you normally would. It challenges your patience. And ideally, it doesn't want to go in the upper half of that right here. It can close it, but if it's heavy, ideally it wants to stay in the lower half of it. Really sloppy. If it's good, it should start losing ground real quick and go after the stops where I have noted sell side. I think they wouldn't have an opportunity to pull the orders. Just like that. I stayed as long as I could. So know? And you can do the math on that. I'll talk to you guys on the community post later today.